What's good, family? K Mo's Fit channel. We back with another video on the channel. We just showing off the physique. Let's get right to it here. But I wanted to hop on this video and kind of talk to you guys about something that I was thinking about as currently recording this video. It is currently Sunday. What's today's date? Sunday, May the 17th, man. So when I drop this video, probably be a couple of weeks, maybe 10 days or so after that, whenever I drop this. But something I wanted to talk about, man, because as you guys know, I'm on the journey to losing 100 pounds, right? Starting off at 308 pounds, being a fat piece of shit, fucking drinking, smoking every day, not keeping the promises to myself, not keeping the promises to others, right? Always agreeing to shit that I didn't want to do, right? Just being a shell of myself, not being the best version of myself, and just being a bullshit man altogether. One thing that I did all the time, and some things that you guys might have done, is avoiding mirrors, right? And somebody gonna say, what is he talking about? Avoiding mirrors, right? And this might be something that you guys do, you know, subconsciously, without you realizing. But this is something that I definitely noticed that I did for many years. Because I want to say, current recording this video, like I said, it is 2026 May, the 17th Sunday, and I started my weight loss journey at 308 pounds, guys. Really in July was when I weighed in that much, but I really locked in August, right, of 2025. So avoiding mirrors was something that I didn't even notice, right? It was something that just came to me second nature, right? In the morning, the first thing that I can remember in the mornings when I would wake up to brush my teeth, I would always brush my teeth and piss in the dark. Right. And they say, oh, that ain't a big deal. You know, that's nothing extreme. Right. A lot of us do that. What could be so bad about that? How you avoid mirrors by just doing that. Right. Because a lot of us have eye sensitivity and stuff like that in the mornings. But the reason why I was doing it is because I hated looking at myself. I hated looking at my physique. I hated looking at my yellow ass teeth. I hated looking at my fat ass cheeks. I hated just looking at myself knowing that everything in the mirror was a direct result of my actions, right? Or my lack thereof, right? The lack thereof of the actions of tracking my food, the lack of the actions of, you know, making those promises to myself to say I'm, you know, not going to drink again, or making the lack thereof of making those promises to myself saying that I wasn't going to, you know, indulge in the things that I was indulging, that was getting me the lifestyle that I was getting, right? Being anxious, being depressed, all these things that make us as men shell of ourselves, right? And it dwindles down to our families, because whether we know it or not, right, how we feel about ourselves projects to the universe, right? We all have like this, what they call like an aura signature around us. Everywhere that we go, everything that we do, right, it's around us. And we don't know that when, you know, we are doing these little things like avoiding mirrors, right? Or, you know, self-sabotaging. These things are oozing out through your aura signature. So people can see that you're not confident, right? People can see that you feel terrible about yourself, right? You have negative self-beliefs. People can see all these things through your aura because it's oozing out of you, right? And you know, a lot of times us as men, or us as overweight individuals, dads, whatever it might be, right, we tend to think that this is not a big deal, right? Even like being at the pool right now, right? I'm at the pool, got my shirt off. I know I'm looking all right, right? I might be a little heavy. These last couple of days I've been eating all right? But it's one day at a time, man. And the thing about avoiding mirrors is like, it starts off as you brushing your teeth in the dark, right? It starts off as you wanting to have your shirt on at the pool, or getting in the pool with your shirt on, right? It starts off as those little bitty things, but then those things compound into the bigger things, right? The negative self-belief, the emotional instability, right? Being emotional, not being able to take control of your emotions. All these things that us as men, we can't afford to do, right? We have to be the best version of ourselves 110% of the time for those that are counting on us, right? We don't have the luxury of, you know, slacking off, or, doing the thing, kind of hiding behind the scenes, because I know a lot of times when I was at my heaviest, like I said, drinking, being a fat piece of shit, not keeping the word to myself, not keeping the word to others, all the things in my life were avoiding your reflection as you walking past windows, or avoiding taking pictures and taking videos, because I wish I would have took a lot of videos and a lot more pictures when I was heavier. But I don't have a lot of those things because I didn't like the way that I looked, right? I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. But I always tried to hide it, right? I hid it in liquor, I hid it in weed, I hid it in my vices, porno, women, whatever it might be. I tried to hide those things and the things that weren't making me the best version of myself, right? And once I stopped trying to hide, right, and turned them lights on every single morning as I brush my teeth, as I start to affirm to myself, right, speak life into myself every morning as I brush my teeth, right, as I started to speak life to myself as I pass mirrors, as I pass reflections, right, my life started to change, right? My mindset started to change. I started to do things differently, and that way I got a different result, right? And as my physique starts to get more shredded and I get towards my goals, things are becoming better and better for me. But I wanted to get this video up to you guys because this is something that was weighing heavy on me, man, because we avoid, not just the mirrors, right? We avoid a lot of things, especially socially, when we're not becoming the best version of ourselves, or we aren't the best version of ourselves, right? And most of the time, those are mirrors, right? We hate looking at ourselves because we know we aren't our true selves. We know we aren't our best selves. And only you can change that, right? And how you change that is through your action, right? And to say, oh, well, I do a lot of actions daily, or I walk, or I run, or whatever, but you're still fat as fuck. You're still out of shape. You're still beating your dick every single night. You're still doing all the things that aren't making you the best version of yourself, even though you think you are, right? And that's where the mistake comes. So what we have to do, guys, is we have to sit down and think about all the standards that we want out of life. My number one standard is 198 pounds shredded, right? And I know in order to get there, there's going to be a set of things that I have to do, right? So once you get that standard, 198 pounds, you say, oh, what are all the things that I have to do on a daily basis to get me that standard, right? To bring that standard into fruition. If I want to be 198 pounds shredded, I need to track my food every single day, right? Whatever goes in my mouth, I need to track it, write it down, right? I need to track understand my macros, right? Understand where I need to be at in order for me to maintain weight, in order for me to lose weight, right? I need to have a structured workout plan, right, that I stick to, whether that's 3 days a week, 4 days a week. Now, me personally, I would suggest 4 days a week. What I'm doing currently is a push, pull, legs, calisthenics split, right? 4 days a week, very, very simple. And I mix that in with 15,000 steps per day. You guys don't have to start off right with that, right? You can start off with 5,000 steps per day, but I say at least 30 minutes of cardio every single day, right? And that's just gonna speed up the process, right? You guys don't need to be running miles and miles. You don't need to be doing overly sprinting and doing all this access stuff, right? We don't want to do the crash diets. We don't want to do all the extra green. We don't want to do all the extra stuff, right? We want to make a formal plan that we can stick to every single day until we start getting the results that we want and start getting those standards out of life, right? And it's like, even when we start to see those things, right? Even with me starting to see my physique, I'm not perfect, right? But I understand that more work needs to be done, because originally my goal was, when I started at 308 pounds, was to get to 240, right? And as I stand in front of you, the current recording of this video, I'm about 235, and I still have a long way to go. And that's why I say, you guys really never know until you get on the journey and you start doing these things every single day and you start embodying that new identity. And then you'll start to see that everything else flows, right? You stop avoiding mirrors. You stop thinking of yourself as less, right? And you start becoming and embodying that new identity, right? Like now, I love to see myself. Got my shirt off at the pool, like I said, just a few months ago, 8 months ago, I would have been at the pool with a shirt on, right? I would have been in the pool with a shirt on, like a lot of you fat pieces of shit that always want to hide your body. But there's no need to hide because everybody still can see that body. They still see that you out of shape. They still see that your titties jiggling every time you fucking walk. They still hear you out of breath anytime you're trying to do something that normal people can do. Walk up and down the stairs, walk in the park, whatever the case might be. But like I said, those choices were something that you decided to do, right? So you can't get mad at anybody else but yourself. And I wouldn't even suggest that you guys get mad, right? Because I wasn't even mad at myself at first. When I finally woke up and came to the realization that I destroyed my body, that I was destroying my health, right? That I was destroying my mindset. When I finally realized that and made the change, I wasn't even upset, right? I was disappointed because it took me this long to realize those things. But every single day I took the actions to become that new person, right? And now I'm waking up, I'm loving this shit. I see my standards every single day. I read my standards every single day. I got them on, each one of my phones, this phone, the one I'm recording this on, right? My computer, everywhere in my house, everywhere for me to see, I'm reminded of what my standards are in life. That way I don't get derailed, right? I have them on my mirror in my bathroom, right? Everywhere that I can see, everywhere that I can go, I'm constantly reminding myself. And this is something that you guys have to do as well. And it's kind of like a brainwashing tactic, right? Because when you guys are avoiding mirrors, when you guys are avoiding public places, when you guys are avoiding showing your body, showing who you are currently, then you're pretty much losing the best part of yourself, right? Because if you're not unable to identify with yourself and who you are at that current moment, then you're not doing things that's going to be for your best interest. But I definitely wanted to get this video up, guys. It's the next video on the channel. So like I said, this is the journey for me, losing 100 pounds down. We're just having a good, nice little pool day at the pool with my son, man. But I wanted to record this and keep you guys motivated because a lot of times we avoiding the things that are pretty much there daily, right? So stop avoiding the mirrors, stop avoiding your reflection, stop avoiding who you are, who you forced yourself to be through your actions, and start making the right choices, right? And start embracing that and start changing it for the better and start rewriting your new you, right? Rewriting your identity, rewriting your new life, your new self. But if you guys have any questions, any comments, any concerns, make sure you guys hit me on Instagram at KMOSFit. That's KMOSFit. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.